Alright, hello and welcome back to another in a basic tutorials video. I'm actually playing in the Kaiserreich mod. This is my United States campaign where I took the MacArthur route, won the Civil War, and have Quentin Roosevelt as my president. And America is definitely a country in Kaiserreich, just like in vanilla, vanilla EU4. Vanilla Hearts of Iron 4, that can spiral really quick with production. I mean, I have 392 factories and naval dockyards. You are just a powerhouse of production, a powerhouse of resources. You can see I'm already building nuclear reactors. So it's just, you get a lot of stuff. But anyways, I wanted to show this campaign to show that, you know, my garbage invasion of Canada is not going so well in the West, but it's going well in the East where everybody lives. So I'm retaking New England, and because America, you get a great focus tree to basically retake. What the hell? To retake your old, I joined Germany just for something fun, to retake America. So you get a focus tree for rebuilding America. So, anyways, lots of fun. The main reason I wanted to show you this, to do this basic tutorial on navies and air forces. Again, the bare, like I did in my last two videos, you can see all my planes flying around. The bare minimum you need to know for organizing a Navy and organizing an Air Force. I'll start with the Navy because it's a little bit easier. Now, unfortunately, the Navy and naval combat, even Paradox has admitted, is not as fully fleshed out as they would like. And you can get really kind of cutesy with your Navy and have a whole bunch of small fleets roaming around. But really, right now, there's unfortunately no reason to do that. So a lot of players, including me, they form one big doom stack. I need to split my submarines out into their own force. But anyways, they form excuse me, one big doom stack of naval ships, which is what you see here. I have 227 of those, including 5 carriers. So, because I stayed as the United States in the Civil War, so I was able to keep some of my Navy, and I'm continuing to build more. If you go to production, you can see I'm building light cruisers, basically one of everything, no heavy cruisers. I'm a big light cruiser fan. You can pump them out pretty quickly. Really, them and destroyers, they can really fill up your Navy pretty fast for some power production with the carriers and battleships. And I actually like battle cruisers. You know, they're not as good as battleships. I like them because I just think they sound cool, and you know, I always liked Klingon battle cruisers in Star Trek. And you can see my production's not doing so well. I need some more rubber, and they're having trouble keeping up with all that. And I need some more chromium, which they're having trouble keeping up with. I'll get some from Japan, even though I'm fairly certain Japan's eventually going to attack me. So, let's talk about the Navy, like I said, because it's first. You need to have naval ports, not just dockyards, but you need to have naval ports that have a good naval capacity. And that's what these little anchors are. Naval capacity 0 out of 20, 0 out of 10. Norfolk is pretty good, 0 out of 100. Baltimore, 0 out of 10. And so on and so forth. The more dockyards, or excuse me, the more naval bases you have, the higher your capacity. And impacts, you know, supply capability for supplies being transported, and how fastly or how quickly your ships can be repaired. So this fleet is based actually, the home base is North Texas, which is a level 3 base. I don't know why I did that. Actually, I know why. It's because I never reset the base after the Civil War. During the Civil War, they drove me out of Norfolk, and I had to base my Navy down here in Texas, which I was able to stop them basically before they took over what is the Houston area. So I really want to rebase them to Norfolk, and if you want to rebase them, all it says is you right-click them to move them to that base. And you control right-click to set as home base. And you can always tell them to repair now, and they will immediately go right back to wherever base that they're going. And they were based just in the central portion of the Atlantic. I was just doing some power protection, protecting my convoys, and I'm going to end up shifting them up here so I can launch probably some naval invasions of Canada. So let's let them go back home. So, in case you don't know, There's still a bug where the Civil War mod will, or the Kaiserreich, after the winning the Civil War, the events will continue to spam after a little while. So there's some naval conflict going on. Their air units are attacking. Well, I lost that one. There we go. There's a naval battle going on. That's what the naval screen looks like. You have to pause to check it out really quick. They've got some destroyers and some light cruisers, some unknowns, and the ships are moving in towards combat right now. They definitely outclass me in the air. So let's see if there's actually going to be a battle here. And there wasn't. Lost a couple planes. But anyways, I wanted to show you so that the ships are actually back in port right now. And they're going to be repairing, and it's showing just their strength. This naval base has a capacity of 10, which is showing how much strength is going to be recovered. I'm way over capacity right now, though. So what I actually need to do is I need this fleet to be split up. Which, just like the armies, when you have a fleet split up, you need to assign commanders. So this will show you capital ship armor. They each get their own little skills. Skill level there, and they each get their own little, I forget what these are called. I don't know, traits? Let's go with traits. I think, yeah, they're traits. They each get their own traits, so that way you can put different commanders in charge of different things. I'm going to find another good naval base. I think Philadelphia is pretty decent. Yeah. So we'll just take that. Control, right-click, and tell them to go back to Philadelphia, and that's going to be their new home base. Well, Kerensky was killed a long time ago. So, my navies are now in port, and they're going to be repairing. When you have your navy selected, you can change its repair priority. That'll, like, if they're fighting, they'll go back to repair when they have a certain amount of damage. You can set it to have a high, so that means basically the moment they have a minimal amount of combat, they're going to return back to base. I don't necessarily do that. I usually leave it on medium so they can stay out there fighting longer. These are all the naval missions. Convoy escort's exactly what it sounds. Convoy raiding, exactly what it sounds. I usually use, my preference is search and destroy, and it's currently repairing, so if you give it new orders, it's going to go back out to its orders. These are the green that's already highlighted. If you want to, what was I going to say? Alright, let's let it get back out to the ocean. If you shift and right-click on a region, it will actually stop the current mission there. So I'm just having it move. So if you wanted to do search and destroy, you select search and destroy, you right-click, and there you go. Now it's search and destroy. Or you shift right-click, and it takes the mission away. This is green right now because it's showing I have naval supremacy right now because of my submarine fleet still located there. So again, right-click after you select your mission, and it will do so. Same thing with this. If I wanted to do a certain mission, it's currently repairing. If you wanted to do a search and destroy, 1, 2, 3. You can only ever assign 3 combat zones to a fleet, so it is good to have multiple fleets. So that's the Navy in a nutshell. Let's talk about the Air Force, which they've definitely done a lot of updates to lately, but is still probably one of the more confusing aspects of the game. This is where logistics comes into logistics and production are really important. You have to be producing fighters to assign squadrons, and this is, you can see what I'm building the most of. I rely a lot on naval aircraft. I'm only actually producing regular land fighters, but I'm producing naval variants of fighters, naval bombers, and naval close air support. I've got some factories that are free, so what I'll likely do is once I research, close air support 2, assign some factories to that. Well, up its priority. Next patch, they're making it so you can just kind of like drag and move these production lines, which is going to be great. You can slow down the mechanized equipment, continue the close air support. I always recommend close air support over tactical bombers. That's just my play style. It's my preference. Again, with close air support, you can kind of game the system if you just get if you put 1,000 close air support units in one combat location, it's going to really tilt the balance somewhat. But again, air forces are still being fleshed out by the developers. And this is actually the first game you saw in my previous videos. I'm actually trying to use heavy tanks, which is new to me. I don't really do that too often. In fact, I don't even know if I have any assigned yet. Nope. Alright, so back to the Air Force. You see these silhouettes of planes? That means capacity 0 out of 600 means there's no planes assigned. The air bases with that look like the silhouettes filled in with a gray or white icon, it means you have airplanes there. And this one you can actually see that Germany, Ireland, Mexico, the French Kingdom, Polish Commonwealth, and the Kingdom of Ukraine all have planes at this location. I actually don't have any there. I've got planes elsewhere, and actually you can always just go to your the air overview to see where all your airplanes are. Again, the airplane squadrons with the aircraft carrier symbol, I would not mess with those. That's just showing you that they're on an an aircraft carrier. They need to be on an aircraft carrier. So before I started, I sent a bunch of my squadrons back to the just the storage. So we'll show you what it's like to actually build some squadrons. Let's use Michigan because it's going to be close enough to actually get into some good combat. Michigan's got a capacity of 800. 0 out of 800. Add a new air wing. This interface is garbage. Paradox. This is probably the number one thing people complain about most with the air system right now. Fix this interface. So I want to put some fighters in there. So if you shift click, I've got 1,263 left. I started off with 1,663. If I put 400 there, I got 1,200 fighters left I can assign elsewhere or use for reinforcement in case they get shot down. So that's one squadron or one group of 400. Now I got to add another new air wing. So let's say if I wanted to add some close air support. This is the carrier version. I don't have the land-based version. I don't have enough of them yet anyways. So I'm putting 400. There you go. Now I've got 800 fighter or air wings or air equipment, I'm sorry, that are going to be deploying to this air base. There we go. And this should be arriving. You see how it's going to start flashing red and green. It's going to be debating the air superiority. I already have air superiority in the northeast, and I'm going to try to get air superiority in the northwest. Let's speed it up a little bit. You notice Hearts of Iron 4 starts chugging the longer the game goes on. There you go. Now it's showing I've got complete air superiority in the the midwestern portion of the states. If I want them to attack Central Canada, I just right-click over to Central Canada, and I have to also assign them missions, just like the Air Force, or just like the Navy. I've got close air support and fighters selected, so I want air superiority, close air support, and interception. You don't really need to do naval strike. It's Central Canada. Again, just to debate how much you want them to fight, I usually do normal operations, so once they get beat up a little bit, they'll go ahead and go back home. And now, that just turned green. That means I've already established air superiority over this area. And to change that screen, all you gotta do is hit F1. This is the air wing. F2 is the naval wing. F1 is ground. So, there you have it. That is Air Force and Navy, the basics. How to create a Navy, how to create some air wings, how do you have to use production to create the aircraft units. So, there you have it. I hope these videos are proven helpful. And again, this is not the in-depth strategy session of the world. This is just the minimum basics you need to create air wings, to assign them to missions, to create naval squadrons, to assign those naval squadrons to missions and the task forces, so on and so forth. Like you can see, there's another battle going on here. They've got one destroyer against 27 of my, and there you have it. I lost 8 submarines. That scared me for a second. I thought that meant they had 34 carriers. They just have 34 ships. They only have 3 carriers there. So, that would be one heck of a fight. I'm wondering why my main navy isn't engaging them right now. Ah, well. I think maybe I didn't... I know why. I don't think I assigned any of my navies to guard this area, did I? Yeah, I did. I don't know. Anyways, that's your naval and air missions in a nutshell and the basics, so hope this helped. Alright, everybody, and I will talk to you next time.